Hello, 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 everybody. It is time for Mickey in the Middle. Do me a favor, and as soon as you get here, let me know that you're here. We have a contest every single night to see who's the first one that can make a contest. Hey, congratulations to Don Ledger, first one in, the gold medalist winner tonight from Arizona. Thanks a lot, Don. Glad to see that you're here. How are you? So we're going to wait for everybody to get in the room. We just started this. Takes a couple of minutes. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most nervous that I've ever been doing this show. Sydney Allison, you are the silver medalist in with a comment tonight. I'm so glad that you figured out. Hello, Susie Goebel. She wins the bronze medal tonight for the third person to check in. So do me a favor, everybody check in as soon as you get here. Let me know that you're in the room. Nobody ever gives me a count. So what I do is I let this little presentation play while I talk over it. Hello, Steve Hayes down in Florida. By the way, Sydney's over there in Oklahoma. Susie's in Arkansas. Tonight, I hope that everybody shows up. I hope that everybody shows up because I got a message for conservative people, for liberal people, for progressives, for gay, straight, religious, secular, people of every demographic. Did you know that you're erased? You're erased. You don't have to worry about becoming erased. You're already erased. Hello, Jennifer Barton, also from Arkansas. Hey, Sherry Clark, how are you? All right, so this is the last time we're going to let Ollie do this, and then I'm going to get right to it. You don't even know that you've been erased, but we're about to do this, so here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle. For those of you who have never been here before, I would like to welcome you to the show. If you do not know what I do, this is the quintessential show for middle Americans that make things happen in the country, that make the world a better place, that make our neighborhoods, our cities, our states, and our nation absolutely fantastic. And I've been doing a lot of thinking lately because that's kind of like what I do. I think about stuff and then I write stuff down. And as I see things, as I read things, I figure things out. And my daughter and I were talking the other day, and she put it best to me. She goes, if I can get a piece of paper in front of me with all of the parts, I mind map it, and then I can start making the connections between all of the little bitty nuances that are inside of the words on the page, and that's what I have done, and that's what I want to talk to you about. And this is why I sent word out on my Facebook page and word out to several of my friends group that tonight I have figured it out. And it is absolutely disturbing. I have faith in our country. I have faith in the United States of America. I have faith in you. I have faith in me. I have faith in the system that the forefathers and the people that put this country together had. I have faith in them that they put words on paper that can be a roadmap. A roadmap. That's all that the Constitution of the United States of America was. The Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, and it is nothing more than an idea. And then the Constitution was codified several years later, and that is a roadmap for you and me. And I'm going to go through the evidence for that. And I'm going to ask everybody to please stay tuned for at least 10 minutes while I get through this. Because first I'm going to tell you a story and how I came to be Mickey in the Middle. And it is a fascinating story that involves sex, bribery, underage drinking. It involves a lot of stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to get to tonight. So I'm not going to answer a lot of the comments right now, and I will get to them. But for the first 10 minutes, I need this message for everybody to understand. Because you have been erased in the United States of America. We have got a conversation going on in this country about who's allowed to say something, who's not allowed to say something, what is hate speech, What is authorized speech? What is censorship? What about your ideas and my ideas and all of the ideas that need to be brought on the table so that we can move our country forward together and make the world a better place? So I'm going to start off with my story. When I was 16 years old, I had a best friend that lived across the street from me. An amazing individual. Loved everything that I loved. Sports. Starter on the volleyball team, the basketball team, the softball team, president of the student council. Had aspirations that were bigger than our station in Bossier City, Louisiana. It's a time in the country in the late 1970s where a lot of things had transpired prior to this point in our lives when I was in love, and that person that I was in love with put me clearly in the friend zone. And that's okay, because when you get put in the friend zone, you can have conversations that are unbelievable. But anyway, one night, she talked to me and she said, I need to go to your office. And my office was above a drainage in the street. And we would go there and we would sit down and we would talk for hours and hours and hours about our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, about where she wanted to go, about where I wanted to go, and about how she was going to go to the United States Air Force Academy. And she had scholarship offers all the way from schools all through the country. And she had decided that she wanted to serve her country like her father did and like my dad did. And she wanted to be a person that could become a pilot. And at that time, women were not accepted to be pilots in many of the aircraft that we had in the United States Air Force. So she sat down with me in my office and she said, I've got to tell you something. I am being blackmailed for sex. And I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but I'm going to do something about it. And I said, well, who's doing what? I'll just go and kick their ass. And she said, well, it's worse than that. Somebody found out that I'm gay. I didn't even know that she was gay. She says, I'm a lesbian. Somebody found out about it. And they are blackmailing me for sex in order to not reveal my secret. Now, at the time, my mind started tumbling. It started going a million miles an hour because I was Catholic. Being gay was wrong in the world that I grew up in. And all of a sudden, now I had my best friend telling me that she was gay and that she was being blackmailed for sex. And all of a sudden, my world just tumbled. There's an album out by Bread in 1975, I think. But I just got a brand new Walkman and I put in a cassette tape and I started listening to that, and all I could think for a week solid, how in the world is this happening to my friend? How in the world can she be gay? How in the world can I equate these two things together? And then I had to make a decision. I either had to accept her as being gay and I had to remain being her friend, and I had to help her get through this situation. Because all of her hopes, her dreams, her aspirations were on the line in her mind, in my mind, in everybody's mind. Then she came out to her parents. And you would have thought that the wheels were going to fall off, but her parents were loving and caring and understanding. Now, I don't know what happened behind the doors in their house, but they still loved her in the end. And I tell you this story because that took me from a spot where I did not understand certain things about the world and the way the world worked, and about prejudice and about holding people down and about censorship. But once I accepted her, she started taking me different places. And at 16, 17 years old, I started going to gay bars. I met all kinds of fascinating people. People that were not like me. I had my crotch grabbed by more men than I have ever had since then. My crotch grabbed by women. And I only tell you that because every single time I had to say, hey, sorry, straight. And they would go, oh, what a loss. And I wasn't even good looking. But they would go, hey, man, what a loss for me. Well, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, I'm with this person. By the way, I'm going to try not to use any names because that's the way that I roll. So I started hanging out in gay bars. I started going to house parties. I started going all over, and I started drinking at the age of 16, 17. And I started going, running with this crowd all the time that I wasn't at work. And it was absolutely fantastic. An entire new world was opened up to me. But since then, I have gone all over the world. I've met hundreds of thousands of people from all kinds of backgrounds. Some poor, some rich, some black, some white, some Latino, some Africans, some Central Americans. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the religion are. I understood that, hey, these people needed to have some type of a voice. And in today's day and age, it became very apparent that their voices at times and through our history have not been heard. And right now we have a debate about who's supposed to be heard, who's not, who's got a dangerous side, who's being insurrection, who's being contrary to the popular belief of the day. And I want to take you back to 1776 and the Constitution. The way the Constitution was written, it said, hey, all people have the right to speak. They have their own thoughts. They can be their own religion. They have the right to own their own things and to be private inside of those things. But if you want your voice to be heard, you have to be able to listen to the minority. So I wrote all these things down. I wrote all of these things down. What happened to slavery? How in the world did slavery get overcome if people did not, with an unpopular opinion, how in the world did we get over the idea of slavery? People had to speak against the powers that be. The weaker, the people that were on the bottom end of the popular opinion had to speak up and have their voices heard. That's where the 13th Amendment came from. That's where the Emancipation Proclamation came. That's where the entire country had a war called the Civil War that we fought over. And luckily, the right side won and we abolished slavery. And then it became constitutional law through the 13th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was citizenship and representation. If you were a citizen of the United States, it doesn't matter how you got here, you became a citizen. The 15th, the right to vote shall not be denied because of race. At the time, there were popular opinions that said, hey, look here, no, we need to keep white men the only people that were voting. But the voice of the minority had to be heard. The 19th Amendment, the right to vote shall not be denied because of sex. And all of a sudden, the 19th Amendment said that all people can have the right to vote, and that right will not be abridged because of sex. The 23rd Amendment, the people of D.C., although they are not in Washington, D.C., although they are not a state, have the right to vote. The 23rd Amendment guarantees that people that are all across the United States, from stem to stern, have the right to vote. The 24th got rid of the poll tax, saying that, hey, look here, they cannot tax you, and for failure to pay a poll tax that you can't vote. We've been getting better and better and better through our country because the minority voices have been heard. The 26th, the right to vote if you're 18, considered an adult and above. See, I'm coming to you with this because if you silence other people, whether you use Twitter, whether you use anything else, you're wrong. It doesn't matter whether you're right, whether you're left, whether you're conservative, whether you're progressive. It doesn't matter. And I don't mean to be splaining things. All I'm saying is we need to get a hold of the discourse. Right now, you have been erased and you don't even know that you've been erased. All voices have been erased in our country because it doesn't matter who you vote for going up to Congress. It doesn't matter who's going to be in the House of Representatives. It doesn't matter who you vote for in the Senate. They do their own thing. They understand that they have legislative authority over the United States of America, and then they have given that voice away. They gave it away to everybody. The reason why they gave it away is because they gave it to the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, the Department of Commerce. They gave all that away. So everybody that's up in Congress has decided that they don't have to legislate. Do you want to know why they don't have to legislate? Because all of a sudden executive orders have started taking over the day. It doesn't matter who's in power. They just executive order everything. That means that you don't have a voice. If Congress, if the House of Representatives and the Senate do whatever they want regardless of who you vote for, and they're going to go with executive orders that says the President of the United States can write an executive order and change laws and eliminate 11,000 jobs overnight. And then somebody goes, oh, well, that's not right. Then they take it to court so a judge decides whether that's right or wrong. Did you have a say in that? If you're, and you go, well, Biden's my person. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. Biden doesn't care what you think. Right now, the political parties don't care what we think. It's a win all or lose all proposition for both parties. But your voice is counting less and less and less. And you are being erased more and more and more. And what have they done to us? They've got us arguing about little things, about who should be heard and who should not be heard. The reason I started with my story is because at that time, nobody wanted to hear about gay rights. There was no such thing as the LGBTQ community. But enough people stood up in the country to have those voices heard. And then all of a sudden somebody said, hey, look here, we need to come up with a policy that's going to go handle this, and we're going to do don't ask, don't tell. So it kind of changed the game inside of the military, don't ask, don't tell. So as long as you don't talk about it, it's okay. But eventually louder voices were heard, and then they overturned that because those voices started lawsuits that went up through the judiciary that ended up in the Supreme Court that then said, hey, look here, gay marriage is okay. And then they abolished don't ask, don't tell. So that when they got rid of don't ask, don't tell, those voices were actually heard. So when I say that they're erasing you, they're not erasing your voice, because the good ideas will always win. The American people are great people. The American people always will go with all people are created equal with certain unalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We prove this over and over and over and over. It started at the founders, and they gave us this roadmap, and they said all people are, or all men are created equal. That has been interpreted by all of us as all people are created equal. And then we took care of slavery. Then we took care of women's right to vote. And then we got the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And then we did the Americans with Disability Act in 1990. And then gay marriage in the 2000s. So we're getting there. So don't worry about other people's voices. The voices we need to have right now is we need to protect each other's rights to speak, to be heard, to be secure in your thoughts and in your voice. You and I have to be able to be heard. That is guaranteed by the fundamental right in the Constitution called the First Amendment. The First Amendment is very, very simple. The First Amendment is our core founding documents that you and I have rights, and those rights shall not be abridged. It says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for the redress of grievances. My grievance against the government right now is that they are trying to take away your rights by declaring that you're dangerous, or that you're insurrectionists, or that you are undermining the authority of the government. And they don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear what the minority says. If you end up being in a minority party, then all of a sudden you're not going to have your voice heard because popular opinion is going to rule the day. And I don't mean to be upset with this, but I'm very passionate about this. Because it doesn't matter whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're religious, whether you're not religious. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. You have to be heard. And you have to insist that everybody else gets heard. Because this is what I wrote. I said, we are fighting to silence one another. But meanwhile, dictators have taken over our country. You don't believe me? Look at this. This right here are the executive actions taken by Donald Trump. Let me do this. 4. These were Donald Trump's executive actions. Look at them. They go on and on and on and on. By the way, I just scrolled through 2017. These are 2018. These are 2019. These are 2020. This right here are the executive actions by Barack Obama. By the way, this is all on Wikipedia. Presidential records. These are the executive actions taken by Barack Obama in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, 17. These are the executive actions that are taken by George Bush in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2008, 2009. Presidential memoranda in there. These are the ones that have already been done by Joseph R. Biden, the current president of the United States. He's just getting started. But what happens to your voice when the president of the United States makes these executive actions? When the president of the United States takes executive actions, and the only way to stop that is by taking that to court. And that means that the president or the court system makes all of the decisions in the country. For you, for me, for everybody. And it depends on what the whims of the president of the United States are, because now you don't have a voice despite who you vote for in the legislature, because the legislative body has just absolutely ruined themselves by giving away all of the power and not taking the authority to write laws or to certify treaties and authorize, right? So the president nominates and then the Senate codifies into law. Right? So when we joined the Paris Climate Agreement, that was never approved by the Senate. It was never approved by the Senate. That means that you did not have a voice in whether we joined the Paris Climate Accords. And then when Trump got rid of it, you did not have a say in whether we came out of the Paris Climate Accords. And now Joe Biden's got us back into the Paris Climate Accord. And you didn't have a vote on that 3 times. The border wall. Barack Obama said, hey, we're going to do the Dreamer Act. And then Trump said, no, we're not going to do the Dreamer Act. And now all of a sudden Biden's saying we're going to do the Dreamer Act again. What happened to your voice? What happened to my voice? How come Congress has failed us? It's absolutely horrendous. They have failed us over and over and over. These are legislative decisions based on your voice and my voice, based on the people who we vote to go to Congress. And your voice is erased. And what are they talking about up there? They're talking about, hey, we need to go ahead and impeach Donald Trump. And we need to pass money for COVID. Well, la-di-da, good for you. You should have done that 8 months ago. But no, you didn't listen to the people. are fighting among yourselves between Democrats and Republicans about wearing masks and about who's going to get money, because all of those decisions should have been made at the state, and you guys should have said, hey, look here. It doesn't matter whose political party we're talking about. We need to do this for the American people. Because I'm telling you right now, blue is not talking about the American people. Red is not talking about the American people. They are talking about their own self-interest every single time, and they are failing to legislate. And the only way that you have a voice and I have a voice is if we elect people that actually can have a voice. Congratulations, you've been erased. You might as well stop fighting about it. But what you do have to do is you do have to protect the right of everyone to be heard. Everybody must have the First Amendment right to have a thought and be able to present that. The American people are good people. The American people will always fall on the side of doing what is right. We have to have faith in each other. We have to be able to build a bridge so that one side understands where the other side is coming from. That if you say, hey, look here, I'm going to vote for this policy, it doesn't make you a white supremacist racist. If you're going to vote for another policy that's on the other side, it doesn't make you a progressive, crazy person who wants to destroy religion. Because that's what we've come down to. We've come down to name calling and accusations. And all I'm saying is that we need to protect each other's right to speak. Because if we do not have that fundamental right in the United States of America, all of us will be erased together. And there's nothing that's going to be sadder than if we're all erased together. I'm Mickey in the Middle. I hope you like that. That's my thoughts. Alrighty, so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to look at the comments. Alrighty, here we go. So hello, Lisa. How you doing? Hello, Mark Calcaterra. Don. Hey, there's Greg Myers. Let's see who else is here. Chris Cap. The left does not care about the Bill of Rights. They're trying to put them down like a rabid dog. Hey, Eric Johnson. How you doing? Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. So that's kind of like what my notes are. Congress is broken. Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, they all did executive orders. They all acted by fiat, and they just let the judges decide what is right. If you went to a liberal judge, you got your one way. If you went to a conservative judge, you got your other way. That's why judges are important. We just hope that, they can get this right and that they understand that we, the people, are the one that they should be making the decision for, and everybody should be acting in our best interest. So what else we got? Congress is null and void. You have no say. You are erased. Inclusion. There we go. You've been erased. So that's it for tonight, everybody. Slavery, women's right to vote, civil rights movement, Americans with Disabilities Act, gay marriage. Voices of the minority need to be protected. So that's going to be it, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I went a little bit long. But this is Mickey in the Middle. Sometimes I get a little bit carried away. And sometimes I got to carry a message that this is the first time that I've been nervous on my show. I don't want to be erased. I don't want you to be erased. So do me a favor. Carry the message of building bridges. Carry the message of protecting everyone's right to be heard. Do me a favor. Contact your Congress people in the House of Representatives and in the Senate and say, look here, you guys are doing an absolute terrible job. You need to start working on compromises and talking to each other rather than having a House divided. Right now, the Senate is 50-50. This is the best opportunity to do this. Operation 535 is starting to come together. I'm going to put up a video later. I'll post it everywhere in the coming days. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight. That's all I got for tonight. So thank you very much. Appreciate your time and your attention. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me. Everybody have a fantastic night. Remember to live, laugh, and love. Peace.